What is your biggest lesson from the build that you'd tell another founder on day 0?
There's two quick things that I would say. One would be you just have to do the things to learn what you do and don't know. Some of these stats that stood out to us, male factors contribute to 50% of infertility cases.
Okay, what scares you the most about next week?
I think one of the things that you don't think about a ton when you're building a company is...
What surprised you the most about getting here today?
It's a really good question.
I think anyone is lying if they're a founder and they say what scares them the most is not.
So we're doing this.
We're podcasting. We're podcasters now.
So we're doing this.
We're podcasting.
We're
Yes.
podcasters.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't even know why you have to ask. We haven't left each other's side in the past 2 weeks at least.
Oh, no, God, no. I know. So something about starting a company together is we spend quite literally every single second together.
Yeah.
Everyone always asks us too what that's like, but I mean,
it's just a part of life now. Yeah, it's just a part of life.
it's just partnership across all areas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Artize podcast. This is our conversations on becoming the best versions of ourselves, starting our company, starting a family, all those different areas. Probably best to give a brief intro on us. Yeah.
But I would even say quickly that
Please.
the podcast and ties, which we'll be getting into, are separate, right? They're two distinctive things, but are intertwined by a lot of what we'll talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about this whole sentiment around purposeful health, why we're investing in our health. What is it for? And on top of that, purpose in our life. What are we living for? What is our purpose? And bringing in experts and having conversations around that entire topic and experts in their field. So super fun stuff. But background on you and I, just so people know who the heck is talking to them. We're a married couple. We met at the University of Notre Dame. We met in our last semester. I always jokingly like to call this a buzzer beater relationship because we went to school together for 4 years?
Yeah. Literally didn't know each other.
We both got graduate degrees after, and it wasn't until our very last semester that we met. And that's a whole story we can go into another time.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I moved to DC after school. I was working in consulting. Luke moved to New York. He was working in investment banking, and invisible string, butterfly effect, God's plan, whatever you want to call it. We ended up in Austin, Texas. I was still working for the same company where I was traveling for work, so I could kind of be anywhere. And Luke was working for a company in Austin. He got an offer there for a company called Human Co., which is essentially a health and wellness investment company.
Yep.
Amongst other things, many hats.
We did a lot of stuff.
However, that was kind of our entrance into this health and wellness world, right? I mean, you grew up very much focused on health and wellness from the start.
Yeah.
We were joking this morning about your mom being a very quintessentially crunchy mom, right? In a lot of ways of you guys were always eating the healthiest stuff. You were super aware of what you're putting into your bodies. Michelle's very ahead of the curve, no?
Yeah, very ahead of the curve. But she definitely was a catalyst for my interest in this area and passion around all things health and wellness and kind of biohacking, optimizing yourself, all of that stuff. Though I wouldn't classify myself as a biohacker at all.
Yeah. But anyway, that was kind of what brought us to Austin, was that interest. And then obviously we were invested in this space. And that was when we started our own journey of wanting to start a family and thinking about what goes into that. And that's what really led to Ties. But maybe before we even go into Ties, you want to kind of talk about this concept of what we're talking about here and this concept of living on purpose and purposeful health and kind of that vision that we had and we came together around.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me as someone who, has always wanted to become a better version of myself and constantly be growing. And, this idea that we could build a life of purpose and build a life that we want to shape our lives around in a purposeful way with our idea around health, around our lifestyle, around everything that we're doing was really impactful. And so when I think about this idea of living a purposeful life, that's exactly what this podcast is, right? We're going to be interviewing people that are experts. And I think that that allows us to continue to grow ourselves. I think that I love the Matthew McConaughey kind of maxim that he gives around always trying to be the best version of yourself and looking at the 10 years ahead of version of you that you can
Yeah,
constantly keep growing towards. I think that that's a great way to live, to think about your life, the impact that you're making on others, how proud of yourself you are, how you're showing up for yourself. And so along the way, you and I are trying to build this life of purpose, and it'll be an ongoing exploration. Like we
100%.
aren't there and we'll never be there, but it's that idea of constantly evolving and making a positive impact on others, being proud of who you are. I think that we're doing a great job of it, but we're going to be super open and honest about it. And we're going to
Yeah,
interview a lot of people on this podcast that I think can even help us put into concrete in a concrete way what this idea of living purposefully is. And so we're taking this across the podcast, we're taking this across our personal lives, and most importantly, we're taking it to ties and what we're trying to build there too, which
yeah,
I think is probably a good segue into what we are building.
yeah. So the medium version, not too long, not too short version of ties here is, as we were starting to think about starting a family, I was very focused on what I needed to be thinking about. Throughout my life, I've had a few different just health complications, which ultimately led to me not having a period for a period of time. And that to me was my first flag that
Yeah.
something was up. So we started to look into everything for me. Did full blood panel, went to my OBGYN, went to a private fertility clinic as well, just wanting to get good testing done, make sure I knew where I was at. And I think this is very common in a lot of relationships, a lot of partnerships as well, that you're just really diving into everything on the women's end.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, even with a lot of my friends as well, I think there's just this broader like fertility fear in women our age that we just see a lot of these scary stats around fertility and you just kind of wonder like, oh my gosh, where am I at? And wanting to just get some clarity there.
And anecdotally, right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people today, I feel like friends, family, whoever,
Yeah.
have someone that's experiencing complications around fertility.
Yeah. And it actually was I was on a webinar back in my consulting days, and this fertility clinic came and talked to a bunch of the women at this company and was basically sharing, like, "You all are such planners in so many ways. We're like project managers. Um, you're planners in so many areas of your life.
Yeah.
Why are you not planning and thinking ahead when it comes to, for many of you, one of the most important areas of your life?" That hit me like a truck, resonated with me like crazy to think, okay, wow, I am very much saying, I guess we'll see when it came to the fertility journey. And I wasn't being proactive. I wasn't being aware of what I was working with. And obviously, like a lot of this is really up to what people want, right? Some people truly do just not want to have answers on certain things and want to leave things, just up to chance. Well, that's probably the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
people are okay with that. I love spoilers. I wanna know the end of the movie before we've even started the damn thing, so
Yeah.
I was 100% saying, "I need answers. I wanna know where I'm at." Um, and during that process, I mean, I don't wanna speak for you, but you did ask the question, "Hey, what should I be doing?"
Yeah.
And that started a whole new cascade of information for us.
Yeah. And it honestly was as simple as that. It really was. I was seeing you do all of these different things, run these different tests. And I just wanted to partner with you, see if there's anything that
Yeah,
like I could be doing. And it was never a thought that went into my mind previously, right? And I think for a lot of guys it's similar. But it just was this idea around like you were doing so much to be proactive in your health around fertility. And coming from this health and wellness background, I had a little bit of an idea of what things looked like from the male fertility
yeah,
perspective and sperm counts and things like that. But I think when we started to dive in, and I have some of these stats here that I'll read, but when we started to dive in, we realized how much worse it actually was than
yeah,
we ever could have imagined. And that nobody was talking about this in a proactive way. It very much was a here's the stat, and that was pretty much the end of it when it came to the man's health in the fertility journey. And
yeah,
so some of these stats that stood out to us, um, male factors contribute to 50% of infertility cases. 1 in 6 couples experience infertility in the US. Sperm counts have decreased by over 50% in the last 50 years. Recently, it's actually been accelerating how fast it's decreasing, which has
Yeah.
been an alarming stat. And then there's just a lot of additional evidence out there that's pointing towards the role that a man's health plays in the pregnancy success and the health of the future child.
Yeah.
And so when we started to learn all of this and we started to look at what is going on in this space, we started to understand that we're literally the couple that is looking for this, that's thinking about this. What can we be doing? And we have to do something
Yeah.
to help and
Yeah.
engage men in a proactive way. That everything out there was very clinical and it didn't resonate with me at all. It wasn't something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
And it made you feel really weird. To us, we were like, it did. And
Yeah.
to us, we were like, okay, what if we actually built something that was rooted heavily in science and was done with the utmost quality and care, but was an actual brand and mission that people could get around, which is just allowing men to show up as the best versions of themselves
Totally.
for the things that are the most important to them, which if you talk to any dad out there, they light up when they talk about their kids. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
And so we're making a bet on men that they want to show up proactively for their partners, for their future child, for their future children, and we couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love how you said that. It's the only small step in there that we missed was this entire process, or when we were looking at all these things around men's fertility, our original thought was not boom, company. Let's build a company, right? Like
No, we wanted, yeah, not at all.
that we at first, like I mean, I looked at all the supplements that you should be taking, right? That
Yeah,
experts do advise, hey, you get your partner on these just to fill like nutrient gaps that inevitably we all have
yeah,
just based on modern diets.
yeah,
Um, and what it was 7 or 8 supplements I'm ordering. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this probably could be done a bit easier too if there
yeah,
was one supplement that men could take that's a simple way to be proactive in his fertility. So that was when we decided, okay, like I mean, I left my job, what was that, almost a year ago
yeah, over a
to
year
do
ago.
this full time. And you joined me halfway through that. And thankfully now we're very grateful for this. We're in partnership now with your previous company, Human Co., who's
Yeah,
building this
yeah,
with us.
yeah,
So that was really kismet. Like worked fantastic how that all went together. Invisible string, God's plan, butterfly effect, whatever. But it really was like, okay, let's do this thing full time. Let's commit to this mission that we just completely fully believe in, which is that men do want to be proactive and engage early. And that reframe of this being a proactive engagement for men, proactive performance versus reactive treatment,
yeah,
where men's fertility is normally addressed when it's too late or sometimes not at all.
yeah,
And for us, I think that unlock was crazy. And
yeah,
that was the birth of Ties and everything that we're doing. And yeah, so a big thing for us in this is just being super transparent on the process
yeah,
and time check. I mean, we are a week. We're gonna release this a week away from
yeah. We're
launching.
getting close. I mean, we have the actual product here, right? So a
Yeah,
picture of you as a baby with your dad
yeah.
on the side.
So this is funny because my dad is the least social media person. The man barely has an online footprint, and we told him that we wanted to put this photo of him and I on the side of the packaging.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
God bless Pete. He was good with it. But this has been awesome to finally hold these things
Yeah,
and bring it to life because so much has gone into this journey.
yeah,
And I'm sure we're gonna do a full deep dive at some point on the entire process of building Ties.
yeah,
But I figured since we are pre-launch that we could just talk through some questions, like some serious pre-launch real talk
let's do
on
it.
our journey,
Yeah,
and we can go from there.
yeah, let's do it.
Sip of water before we dive into all this.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. You can answer, but I absolutely am giving my 2 cents as well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what surprised you the most about getting here today? We're 1 week out from launch.
It's a really good question. I mean, I think one of the things that you don't think about a ton when you're building a company is, especially in consumer, maybe other industries it's not quite as similar, but for us with a physical consumer product that we were bringing to market was how much this takes a village. You know, you don't realize it, but in order to even get to this place where we have actual physical product that has been done to the level of care that we have, a best in class website, all of these different things that go into building this company and getting ready for this launch.
Yeah.
There's so many people that have been instrumental in the Ties journey and bringing it to life. And even from, ideation on name, logo, all these different things,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
way to like what ingredients are going in. Like we partnered with 5 top doctors in the US across, fertility, urology, dietitians. And we partnered with all of these people, and none of them were linked to one another, right?
Yeah.
But we, through the village that we had created, were able to get in touch with and meet a lot of these people that are some of the leading experts on this out
Yeah.
there right now. And so through that, I just was really surprised at how much it takes a village and a community to build something like this.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way as we've now done this.
Yeah. And I think beyond the experts, which obviously, of course, that's paramount to the quality that's gone into this product. But you kind of touched on it, but the village it takes of like friends and family to get this thing off the
Totally.
ground.
Yeah,
It,
totally.
there are not that many employees at this company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is you and I, and then
Yeah.
fabulous advisors and a team, right?
Yep.
And so there's a ton of people that are needed to help get this thing off the ground. To name a few, my mother. Every time I would send her the website and ask her to go debug anything, like,
Yeah, shout out to
go
Annette.
click on every single button and tell me if it goes where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the amount of people that were consulted on merch.
Your best friend came up with the name.
She did. She'd be really happy you said that. Nikki came up with the name,
Yeah.
which is great.
We had so many
Oh my god.
I don't want to say dumb, but not good names.
The name had some adaptations
Yeah,
for sure. The one was be a partner.
Yeah.
And we kept trying to play with like the Bia being really small, but yeah. You, me, Nikki, our friends Sean and Taylor as well, and the trademark website. We're having a great time iterating on names. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Every time we get excited about one.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to go
it'd be
through
taken.
what it takes to actually like get here in terms of all the steps and
Yeah.
stuff like that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. And even just like cousins, friends helping us with social media, everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you need a village. So that's a beautiful answer. Mine is way less kind and it's more unsexy, but just everything takes so long.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think we started in June. Well, I started fully in June on a lot of this, right? And I think we said early on, okay, we're going to launch in October.
Yeah, October, November, something like that.
2025.
Yep.
And here we are in April of 2026, and nothing went wrong. It's just actually how long things take sometimes.
It's how long things take, and then also when you put the level of detail into it
100%.
that went into it, it just ends up continuing to take longer.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone is starting a brand, add a few months.
Yeah, for
Maybe.
sure, for sure.
Unless you're in tech or something, then more power to you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. What did you think would be hard that wasn't?
I think for me and how organically Ties came about of me just asking the question of what could I be doing, it resonated because we were the ones asking the question, right? And we were the ones that were building the concept, building the idea, but you don't always know how that's going to translate to other people that you're looking to partner with or that you're looking to bring onto the team. And I actually can't underscore how many people have had such a strong positive reaction. Like basically everyone we talk to about this idea of men showing up for their partners and showing up for their future children and showing up as the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And so I've been shocked by the reaction from people that we have wanted to partner with. We have some really awesome partners that will be coming into the fold.
Yeah.
And so many of them, it's resonated where we've literally had, rooms full of men that have basically been like teary-eyed talking about their own journey in this. And I think that was one of the things that I had thought potentially it could have but I thought maybe there would be a little bit more of like an educational curve of people having to understand it and get it. But this idea of proactive men's health, it really resonated with so many people that we wanted to partner with
Yeah.
in this community that we built. So that was one thing that I think really surprised me.
Yeah. I will genuinely just take yours and echo that because I I would say the same. It's been amazing. And it's hard to almost use the word amazing with how quickly it resonates with people because sometimes it's because they have themselves
Yeah, yeah,
experienced fertility challenges or someone close to them has. And so this is hit on a personal note. But I think one of the moments you're talking about is we were talking with a partner
yeah,
and it was a group. I think it was you, me, and 5 or 6 men
yeah.
talking and fabulous partners. And everyone went around the room and actually shared in some form of fashion that they themselves and like as a couple had some form of fertility challenges
Hmm.
and they had never spoken about it until they were in this room all with like their
Yeah, those
coworkers
5 or
until
6
now
men had never talked about it amongst that group
amongst that
before,
group.
so us being there was the first time,
Yeah.
and you saw one another kind of look at each other. I don't wanna say have permission, but as soon as the first person went that talked about it, it was like the next person went, and then the next
Yeah.
person, and you could see this, like, relief of them talking about it and looking at each other like, "Wow, I never knew that this was a
Yes.
thing for you."
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was that was a goosebump moment for me and an unlock on what we were doing.
yeah,
Because obviously we've believed in this from the beginning because it's been something we've wanted, but you never know how it's going to be received and how it's going to resonate with other people, right? And
totally.
so for me, that was like, oh, okay, wow, what we're doing here can really kickstart this conversation
Yeah,
and can at least make this more mainstream conversation. The conversation itself is important.
mhm,
And then bringing in something that engages men, an actual protocol supplement that you can be taking, that's a whole nother level, right? So for me, that was such a good positive. And then beyond that, just the reaction we've had around this concept of you don't need to also be having challenges conceiving for this to be something that is needed, right? 75% of women take prenatals because we recognize there's nutritional gaps in our diet and we want to
yeah,
make sure we're in a good place to carry a child.
yeah,
The same logic applies to the sperm that you're passing down to your future children, right? You want to make
100%,
sure you're at your best point in health to be able to do that, even
100%.
if you could get pregnant anyway, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that unlock has also just completely resonated with people. And it's like kind of like you said, I really thought there would be a harder um like education gap there,
yeah.
but people just get it. It's like the joke of, right, like, "Oh, we've all been a baby." Like, we all get it. What is that,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
As a
yeah.
former baby, I do understand this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
so good.
I would say that that truly was maybe one thing. Now, this question is set up like a jinx. So, it's set up like, okay, now maybe our CAC is gonna be super high because
Yeah,
no one's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
get it. You never know.
yeah.
Alright, next one. What is the thing you're most proud of that nobody will see?
Do you wanna go first or you want me to go first? I feel like you could go first on one. Maybe I'll go on this one. You got the next one?
Sure.
Okay. Um, for me, it's we have it on the website. We'll talk about it on social media. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But the level of attention in detail that went into this product in terms of using the best manufacturers that tested every single ingredient, sourcing on every single ingredient,
Yeah.
then third party lab testing on every ingredient, the packaging that went into it, the medical advisors that advised on every single ingredient that should go into it, along with this best in class R&D facility that we partnered with. When you start to peel back the onion of all the things that we've done to try to do this with the utmost level of care and quality,
Yeah.
it is something that I'm really proud of. And it's authentic because this product was built for you and I to take this on our preconception journey.
Yeah.
It was built for our friends and our family to also take this. And in order to do that, that's the level of care and detail that went
Yeah.
into this, that like no corner was cut the entire way. And I think a lot of brands say stuff like that at times, but like I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you and I did that and our partners did
Yeah.
that to the best of its ability.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo again, unfortunately. I think it's also the concept of we probably could have done this a heck of a lot cheaper.
there was, yeah, this could have been done a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I don't know what the ROI is gonna be on the extra measures we took, right? I don't know. If we could have done it for cheaper and gotten the same amount of sales, maybe, I don't know, but we and made sure we did this right.
Yeah.
And we were talking last night with an advisor, and we were talking about this exact conversation is always, have the utmost integrity in everything you're doing, and I truly I work that was our exact mission.
Well, it also was the fact that, for us, Ties is a life mission that we wanted to embark on together, and partnering on this, and this company that is literally our baby that we care so much
Mhm.
about. This is built for a long-term brand,
Yeah.
and we want something that is going to stay around for forever. And so for us, the idea of trust, quality, and care is rooted throughout everything that we do. One of our taglines is built the hard way on purpose.
Yeah.
And as you can see, purpose is in everything that we do. And we choose that hard path because we're choosing to try to show up as a best version of ourselves and constantly becoming that. And so our products reflect that level of care as well.
Totally. Next. Okay, what scares you the most about next week? I can answer this first if you want. I think anyone is lying if they're a founder and they say what scares them the most is not that just no one buys it. I don't know.
That's
That I
the
that
real
I've
answer.
uprooted
Yeah.
our lives and burned the boats, left our jobs, and invested a ton of, time
Yeah,
into
yeah. A
building
ton of money. Yeah.
into building something that we want to, give to the world and that there's no bite.
Yeah.
That would obviously just be my as honest as it gets answer. I manifest none of that. Your turn.
It's kind of along the same thread, but I think it's this idea around, and I'm sure every entrepreneur feels this to some extent as they're launching something, but you really are just putting yourself out there in the most vulnerable
Oh
and
yeah.
naked way in a lot of ways. And so you and I are doing this in an extra way of we're literally documenting the journey ourselves and talking about it on things like podcasts and content and all of these different pillars.
Yeah.
And so we're really putting ourselves out there. And so with that, there's just the extra level of like, you don't want to look dumb and you want it to succeed so bad. And so, I think for me, that's a little bit of a scary thing, but anything that is built with a mission that we have around Ties and then is scary, I think is an awesome opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I'm reframing that to
Yeah.
positively look at it. This is just another opportunity to grow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Share very vulnerably starting a company. Check. Talk about sperm and your personal sperm
Yeah,
health.
yeah.
Check.
There's a
Talk
lot of
about
there's a
our
lot of industries I
fertility.
probably could have done and been like cooler, quote unquote, in, but
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is your biggest lesson from the build that you tell another founder on day 0? So, like, let's say day 1 is next week at launch, but day 0 from ideation.
you go for it.
Mine is one that isn't a lesson fully learned, one that I'm still 100% working on, but is literally taped on my desktop, like on my monitor every day. So I'm thinking about this, but getting past the cringe, who gives a crap? If your fear of embarrassment and what someone is going to think about you is actually what's holding you back from doing the thing that you genuinely want to build, do your dreams, whatever it might be, like if that is what's holding you back from the life you're trying to build for your family and the impact on the world you want to have,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And I absolutely am at fault of this so many times of always like wanting to I am honestly like wanting people to, think, "Oh, that's awesome, like what she's doing," or, "Oh, that's like cool." Well,
Yeah.
honestly, like not it's not a priority, and that has been an awesome like unlock for me is letting go of a lot of that
It's freeing.
because yeah, because
Yeah.
I cannot let that hold me back. And it is quite freeing. And it's good exposure therapy to start. And now we're really in the thick of it, of
Yeah.
just doing this. And for me, that's what I would say for anyone is just
Yeah.
don't let anyone else's opinions hold you.
I think that's so good and something that I need to remind myself of constantly as well.
Yeah.
Um,
We're good in supporting each other on this one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's two quick things that I would say. One would be you just have to do the things to learn what you do and don't know. There's
Totally.
never going to be a perfect condition to start. And there's never going to be that you know everything that you need to know. Like you just have to do things and you learn along the way more about it. So, like us versus last May when we talked about this idea, this concept of ties and why this industry mattered to us, to now, it's astronomical the amount that we've learned around this and learned about ourselves too. And so I think there's no perfect time to start. You just have to go after it and you'll learn along the way. The second thing is and this was very specific for me having worked in this health and wellness industry for the last few years. Um, if you want to eventually be an entrepreneur and you are working in the industry, right? This is specific for if you're working in the industry that you want to work in, the relationships that you start forming today, well before you start your company, are paramount to helping with the company later on. So there's so many authentic relationships that I made across different companies in the sector of health and wellness. Other people that I worked with, other people that we partnered with at Human Co. that ended up playing a big role in ties and helping us find partners
Yep.
to do our R&D, to make our website, all these different things that came into the fold later on. You don't think about that before, but I think it's just a really good idea around the community that you're building and the village that you're building. Um, it's so important and you never know when you need to you need help from someone. So always be helpful and always be building that village
Yeah.
as early on as you can.
I think that's a really good one. It's a good one
Thanks.
too.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Um, all right. Last one. What are you most excited for that has nothing to do with sales or metrics? I can I can answer this one.
Okay.
I mean, there's a certain layup here in this industry, or this specific category we're in. Without a doubt, is Ties Babies. I am uh, so excited to see the impact of the product and how what beautiful families are started with men that were being proactive in their health.
Yeah.
And I hope we hear those stories. I hope they share them because I just would love to see the impact of this and hopefully how it like reframes a lot of how couples are engaging with their fertility as a couple, and how that also impacts women as well.
Yeah.
So hearing that, I think that is unbelievable. I'm so excited for that part of this. Is truly just the impact that it's going to have.
I mean, that's like the the
The love.
correct answer and just like the best part of this, undoubtedly. I think,
Yeah.
maybe piggybacking off of that, it's this concept of community that we're building for men and partners along the way. And so, I think about the idea around we've had this concept of the ties guy
Yeah.
and who we think that the ties guy is. And it's this guy that um, shows up for himself, for his friends, for his family, and is constantly thinking of other and living this life um, of purpose, of trying to be the best version of himself and constantly evolving and growing as a person. And
Yeah.
so for me, as I think about the communities that we want to build with ties, I think that that's going to be something that is incredibly impactful and will really resonate with men. And we're excited to be that resource and that partner along the way, to spur men to show up as the best version of themselves. And so I'm really excited for that. The Ties Babies is 100% what I'm most excited for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Um, okay, those are my pre-launch questions for us.
Great.
So
Love it. I
those would
love
be
it.
fun actually to maybe come back on at some point, like a year in or 6 months in,
Yeah.
and reflect on those exact questions.
It's another thing of putting yourself out there, right? Of we just put ourselves out there with some of the things that we think, and we'll see a year from now how that actually translates. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what this is going to be going forward is a lot more of this us talking about our company and being super transparent and honest in what we're doing, probably even to our own detriment sometimes. Like, we're just going to be objectively honest on all
Yeah.
this. And then, like you said, having awesome experts and friends, partners on to talk about this concept of being purposeful in whatever we're doing, whether that's our health, our family, our relationships, faith, right? Whatever that might look like, and
Yeah.
bringing some awesome people in for that. And then also us sharing our journey of starting a family, this preconception period of time, our health going into it, our relationship, dare I say? I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about
I mean,
that?
let's just let it all fly.
Let's just let it fly. But this is the start of that.
Yeah.
So this is the Artized Pod, and to the next one, we're gonna have a lot more fun stuff to come.
Yeah, a lot
Can
of good
launch next week.
a lot of good ones coming. Yeah, excited to get into it.